to see, but they're actually changed my mind about it. They actually look pretty good now. So I want to see what this team actually can improve upon, because the inclusion of Acadian seems to have actually paid off. They are playing a lot of champions that often get banned. The Xin Zhao against TSM, I believe. I don't think they'll get that one again, but still, the team has been focusing around getting leads into the early game, and it's making up for the fact that the lanes aren't just that strong. So if they can just continue to build leads off of action and less upon just actual farming, then this team is actually good at getting leads in the early game through setting up lanes, like Emily was saying.
I mean, if there's one thing Acadian is pretty good at, it's setting up strong laners. Certainly has been much more in tune with the team, it's felt like, which makes sense given that they've had more time to play together. IMT, though, certainly, when this team's good, they're really good. So I feel like it can kind of beat anyone. And it's going to be up to them to stop Dig's momentum, because they have to be feeling very good right now.
When IMT is good, yes, it can be very good. They've had those 3-0 weeks, but this is looking like the makings of another 0-3 week for them. They need to claw themselves out of this hole. A lot of early game fiascos have cost them the first 2 games this week thus far, currently sitting at 0-2, and a loss here would give them 2 0-3 weeks this split, which is not a position you want to be if you're actually contesting to claw your way into the top conversation, which I think that right now they're going to have to try again and regroup, because these losses that they have taken, I think, put them on the back burner. They're no longer over there. It's still 100 Thieves, TSM, TL, C9, and EG.
Ooh, all right. So first expands are Nocturne, Viego, Gwen for Dig, and Xin, Akali, Renekton there for IMT, which actually leads us to first pick Thresh of all things here for Aphromoo.
Bold, because you could just take Nautilus here as IMT, right? You don't need to hide many of your picks. You know that this is going to be valuable. You don't even need to take it in these first 2. If you want to take something like a Lee Sin and a Diana, she's been so good, even being blinded. There's obviously plenty of options for IMT to play with. Xerxes on AP Champions has been a good look, and Xerxes and Insanity love to play AD, so it's fine to take it early, knowing that you'll be able to, at the very least, take something like a Tristana in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think this is definitely giving over Diana, which is potentially a bit risky. But I think the thing that I like about early Thresh picks, and this actually happened in the 100 Thieves game as well, where Kalista and Aphelios are both very strong right now. And Thresh is also very good with both those champions. And obviously, IMT is probably not going to take both of them. So you set yourself up nicely in the bottom lane, I guess sacrificing some of the jungle and solo lane stuff. So it's kind of an interesting trade of power, right? I'm saying I want my bot lane to be strong, and I'm giving you more top side control and draft as a result.
The danger is that you will get a strong bottom with the Thresh if you execute on it. The burden of execution on Thresh is so much higher than on picks like the Nautilus. Now, Neo and Afro have carried games on these 2 before, so they are counting on themselves, and I love when players do that, but there is an extent to which you can strain your burden of execution here. So I don't think that Neo and Afro have been particularly as strong as they have been in spring, so if Acadian can set themselves up, which Thresh is a great pick for it, yes, they'll be able to snowball the game from there, but I do think that IMT is already answering with picks that are going to make it much harder for Dig to play this game plan. You have the Lucian that's going to go into the mid lane most likely, so you're going to have priority for mid lane. Diana will be able to roam into the bot side. You can lock in the Nautilus here, ensure yourself a good matchup into the Kalista and the Thresh, and suddenly the answers that Dig has for dealing with this comp, with snowballing bot lane early, will be so limited, since Lantern won't be able to save her. Okay, wait a minute. You had a great opportunity for Nautilus. I think you gave something that was very valuable up right now, IMT.
All right, well, they want Varus instead, so that's what they'll pick here, presumably for Raze there in the bottom lane. Lucian there for either solo laner, and Diana presumably for the jungle. I will say that Dig taking Lee Sin here, given that Diana's already off the table, kind of makes me feel like it's probably Acadian's champion.
Yeah, I feel that way too, because he's good at it. He's good at these melee picks, and it still allows you to be flexed around through the rest of the map. And on blue side, it does allow you to be quite creative with it. You still got picks like Set around that you can still flex to 2 lanes, so there's still some creativity they can do by keeping this lead as open as possible.
As you mentioned though, they are expected to lose the Nautilus, and indeed they will. Volibear off the table for Dig though, as IMT banned that one away. And I'm curious if Dig will go any further with the support bans, or perhaps they feel happy where they are now. Destiny has certainly been very good on the Hook champions. I guess the other one he could play is Blitzcrank, but probably not going to see that one.
It'd be bold, very bold, because it's going to be only good against Thresh, and it's not going to be synergistic with Raze's Vera. So I don't think that the Blitz makes sense, although I would love to see that champion make his way onto the LCS. I believe LEC has already played some games of Blitzcrank, so always a joy to see that champion. But now the question for IMT is going to be, what do you actually round out your composition with? Since you've got these two ADs in the mid lane, and you have Dive from the Diana. I think you've got picks like Galio, Rel, Alistar that can obviously still contribute, but the laning phase in the bottom lane is going to be rough.
What is Camille, like, unlocking here for Dig? I guess we'll find out. I'm trying to think of, like, typically what champions you don't want to play Camille into, but that's an interesting setup here for top lane. We'll find out in a moment. Alistar actually the pick there for Destiny, so good playmaker. Not great in lane. It's going to be a struggle in the 2v2.
Struggle bus there for the Alistar. Not the champion you really want, but if you have Insanity in the mid lane with the Lucian, if he can roam to the bot side, you can relieve so much pressure from the Thresh and Kalista. So I think that's the game plan by locking in the Lucian early on. And now it's going to be up to Yasui. What does he play into Lucian to match this pressure? It's going to be the Sylas. I'm pretty sure this is going to be his pick. Loves to play it in Academy. Fake God hasn't prioritized this pick, and in fact, it's usually preferred to be more on the AD bruiser kind of picks. I think something like a Nara is something that I often see him play and succeed with. Obviously done very well with the Renekton, but the Nara still allows him to not only have some strong laning, but some good team fighting later. It will be the set instead, and so the identity for Dig all lines up. Melee, bruisers, diving, plenty of skirmishing, and a lot of mobility.
Yeah, I like it. Dig kind of just really set up. It is, as predicted, Lee Sin jungle there for Acadian. A little low-ish on magic damage. Sylas does scale pretty well, but often, you know, builds a little bit more tanky because he's more of an AP bruiser, right? He has to be in melee range and get in there to get stuff done. Last pick going to be Jace here, though. Camille ban means revenge. Will take a different tact in the 1v1, but does want to maintain his aggression.
Okay, Revenge throwing the gauntlet and picking the Jace in the top lane. Now, when I'm thinking Dig, just mentioned it, right? The first two games they won this week, plenty of ganks from Acadian. The lanes weren't that well. There are two very squishy champions in the solo lanes of IMT that aren't good at defending themselves from ganks. So if Yasui and Fake God are playing well with Acadian, Dig can snowball so well with the lane setups that they have. Before 6, at level 6, it doesn't matter. Lee Sin set, Lee Sin Sylas is such a good gank combination. They have a clear game plan, and if that doesn't work, you still have the bottom lane, which is an aggressive lane that often relies on snowballing by its own.
Yeah, I think the thing I really love about this is, and we've seen this a lot with ganking junglers, right? Like, if you're going to play a ganking jungler, give gank setup to your jungler, right? Like, give him a way to get in there and actually find any sort of angle, any sort of fight. And I think they're set up in every lane for Dig, which feels really good. So definitely like their game plan here. Immortals will have to see if they can get the 80 solo lanes going, because both Lucian and Jace basically have to play aggressive to be successful in their lanes.
And that's going to put them overextended and vulnerable to the ganks. And you actually mentioned some great advice for anybody in solo queue that keeps complaining why the jungler isn't ganking for your lane. Because you don't have gank setup. You're playing Tryndamere, you don't really have gank setup. You're playing Gwen, you don't actually assist with setting up your team. You got CC, some way of jumping the enemy, locking them down. Your jungler's going to show up to that lane every single time. Try playing Malphite, hit level 6, call your jungler every time. He'll be happy to assist your lane.
Exactly, Musty will be up there quicker than you can imagine.
Yes.
To the top lane there. It's always Musty for some reason. All right, Dignitas fanning out. Oh, we have a pause. Afro died already. He's wondering if it's a bug. It's not. Right. It's Kalista Blackspear.
Well, we don't have anything to speculate as
How
to
do you
what happened
feel about getting stabbed by Kalista Spear in the fountain? Because often players like to delay that because the death animation is so long for Kalista to bind to you that you often want to like get out on the map, get your wards down, and then, you know, then betray your support.
Exactly, right. A stab in the front, not a stab in the back. A friend will stab you in the front. So I think that's what Kalista does to her teammates. And it's like you said, you keep your support in base and he's not able to participate in your 5-point formation, go for any invades. And so if you leave one of these points, say the bot try without a support or a ward down there, the enemy can sneak in and your level 1 plan can be entirely dismantled like we just saw TSM do to Cloud9. So it's important to have your support early, and oftentimes what we see is the Kallistas will wait for, say, 1:10 to happen, be close to the lane, do the stabbing sword motion then, and then proceed to laning.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that, like, probably doesn't matter very much, but then the one game it matters, everyone's going to go back to doing it the other way.
Yeah, exactly, right? The one moment you just know that we did this to ourselves. We could have prevented this if we just waited, and that's what often hurts League players the most. It's something that we often hear. We heard it from Impact earlier. Who is your #1 competition? Myself. We heard it from Fake God. Who are you trying to beat to make sure that we don't lose to ourselves? You are your biggest hurdle.
Certainly true, as we'll figure out what's going on with the polls in a moment, but hopefully we'll be back with your gameplay ASAP. It's been a while since I've selected Callista in a game of League of Legends. Can Callista still purchase a second Black Spear?
Oh, I don't know this.
Because that was the worst. Back in the day, I don't remember which player it was, but back in OCE, there was a player that every single game, because Callista was like, you know, one of the best ADs in the meta, right? I think it was probably like shortly after she was released or like in that period, right? You know, the year after or whatever, where she's just like in every game. And this player would always buy a second Black Spear, and I'd lose my mind every cast.
No one stopped
like,
them?
What's happening? I mean, I don't know, man.
Is that how things go down under? There's just, the rules are different down there?
It didn't affect anything. It just personally annoyed me. Because I always got confused. Like, he didn't bind anyone. And then he did. And I was like, ah. Because the reason you used to be able to do it is because before a certain time, I think Callista could rebind to someone else if she changed her mind. So you needed to give the player the option to do that if like
that was broken.
Made a mistake, basically. But I don't know if you can do that anymore. And if you can't, good, because like I said, I don't want to go back to molding from not knowing if Callista is bound to their support or not.
There have been some moments, I think my memory remembers some FBI who he bottom lane where the bind came out a bit too late, right? They were fighting early on, and so they never actually had that opportunity post 1 minute to actually find the time to bind because they had to go to lane. They still kept the spear together, and suddenly the back timings were too tight. There was no avenue to actually go for those binds. So before you know it, you hit level 6, you haven't bound anybody, and you don't have Fate's Call available.
Yeah, it actually takes so long. Like, you wouldn't think it would take, you know, in your solo queue games, typically your teammates die quite quickly. But when you, like, forcibly kill your teammate as Callista, it actually takes quite a lot longer for them to die.
You
the
know,
animation takes forever.
I feel like you could just remove that timing. What are you actually accomplishing?
It looks cool. It's flavorful.
But you can shorten down that time.
You speed it up. They like
die exactly.
Die in like hyper speed.
You die and then you come back to life quickly and you're like, oh, but I really like this time where I had to do nothing. I could take my hands off the keyboard.
What if like you did it and the bind happened and you could walk away, but then like a little animation played, like a little hologram of the like the ritual happened. I don't know. I mean, like, is that flavorful for Callista? No. She's not like a...
It's flavorful. It's flavorful. I think I like it. Just some new animations, some holograms.
I don't know.
Project Callista incoming. Are you spilling some beans that we're not supposed to have ready?
No, I'm not. My beans are always perfectly done.
Oh, man. What's going... Maybe they all want hats. They saw Perks play and they're thinking, oh, you really need to do something. You want all hats.
Their eyes are fine. Revenge is talking to a ref by the looks of things, so perhaps he has an issue.
Yeah.
He's like, I have Jace, what do I do?
Right.
He knows how to play Jace.
Oh, it's like, oh, but ref, this is, I'm trying not to be NA Jace here. Could you help me out? Do you give me some tips?
Ref's like, man, I'm not as good as you, okay? Right. I don't know how good the ref is. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably a better League of Legends player than me, but he's probably not a better League of Legends player than Revenge.
Ref, excuse me. I'm just not feeling too. Could you give me some words of encouragement? I just picked Jace.
Oh. All right, well, again, once we get an update, we'll figure out. Xerxes also now on the mic, so the top jungle synergy is in shambles on the IMT side, but they'll repair it soon enough. Don't you worry about that.
I mean, I liked how every other bug we had the replays today. You know, even yesterday with the Azir bug on the wall, we saw the pro view of what happened, then we got the little replay, and then we got the investigation, and then we even had a chrono break ticker. It was just so thorough. I'm so in the dark here. I don't know what's happening.
We're waiting to play the last game of the day. Everyone's just vibing. Still pause.
Dude, look at Race. He is keeping his APM up non-stop.
Yeah, that's true.
Moving the mouse around, pressing the Q or tab key. What is he praying? Tilde?
Tilde, tab, I don't know. He's a Draven player. You got to press a lot of buttons. All right? Catching axes is an APM-intensive activity.
It is, but you don't need the keyboard.
To play Draven?
No, you like the axe catching is just a movement.
That's true.
Movement, yeah.
I mean, he's like also like, you know, furiously moving his mouse back and forth. That's what it takes to be a top 80 carry player.
Yeah, and he's been good on the Ezreal, but he's not going to play that here. He's going to be playing the Varus, which has been pretty good for a lot of players. Tactical, I think, comes to mind as the best-looking Varus thus far. But this is going to be, yes, all right, we don't have to talk about that anymore.
I was going to say, how do we feel about Varus these days? With Prowler's Claw getting the teeth taken out? Quite a lot worse. You don't get your little like lethality Gale Force anymore.
I really like him when I'm thinking of setting my team up for magic damage burst. So he was very good when Rumble was meta, since your Chains of Corruption would be great at setting him up.
Yep.
Similar idea with the Diane, and now comboed with Jace. If IMT had this pick in mind the whole time, it does allow you to actually have two avenues of poke, but right now, poke really falls behind compared to how quickly you can engage in just team fights. So you don't actually need two members to be poking at the same time. A single Shock Blast, a single blighted arrow at the right target is enough to actually set you up to win the fight. So you don't need two, and that's why often this ends up making your composition just too fragile to never even get to the point to poke and set up a team fight.
All right, we'll see what happens here, because back in the blue pit we go for Acadian. Is getting some help via Fake God, who again is not really interested in hitting Jace at level 1. You see also like hiding, trying not to show himself too early. But again, like against Lucian, you don't go anywhere near the wave, so you're just gonna be chilling, looking for that Q. Ooh, first one misses there, and oh, not quite all the minions.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
it was a sad day. Oh, last one. He's gonna get a great play there for Afro. Ray's already feeling the pain here, and if you want to watch this from the player perspective, you can indeed. Pro View for this game, the free Pro View, I might add. You can, of course, get all the perspectives if you want to go ahead and purchase that product. But if you don't, if you want to give it a go, Afro Moon vs. Destiny is a pretty nice one here.
I would watch the Afro POV. Obviously, you can see both, but first picking Thresh builds confidence on you, knowing that you're going to have to deliver on this pick as more than a Lantern bot, and he has thus far this split at least. So I think that this pick ought to deliver, and already the bot lane being pretty aggressive, crashing this wave. And I did enjoy seeing Destiny start with the headbutt to try to keep Dignitas away from poking away at their own Varus, who's just trying to farm quietly under the turret, just like Yasui is dealing with this Lucian lane.
Definitely a tough time in bottom lane for IMT, and it's going to be similarly tough for Yasui here in mid. Is Acadia looking to level 3 gank Lucian?
Is.
That is the play. Oh, it just finds the Q, gets the damage down. Kind of eats a big trade back, but Acadian is going to relieve some pressure, which is nice.
Okay, yeah, you get a pot, right? You get some health back. And Yasui will love that, but now you know exactly what Acadian is up to. You know his route, you know he started top, you know he path bottom, the timing that he's going to have on these camps, and that's an avenue for Xerxes to exploit. He's gone for the Krugs, he can now go for the Scuttle topside, and so now the Diana will be able to get back on the map sooner, reset her camps faster, and that's the advantage Diana will have over Lee Sin every single time. She can just farm faster. So if Acadian continues to do this, which was what worked in his first 2 games, but doesn't find anything, it's gonna allow the IMT jungler to build a lead that they can use to actually snowball this game.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is, like, yes, Acadian like has lots of different ways to get into these lanes and find effective ganks. We know that Revenge and Insanity are just going to be perma-pushing their lanes, right? So you have to actually time things right as a jungler, right? Whereas the enemy jungler, what lanes are push, what can I realistically gank? Because you do have a wealth of options, but you obviously cannot be in top lane and mid lane at the same time.
Unless you're Karthus jungle, which is why people love playing Karthus jungle, because you can be in every single lane at the same time post level 6. And now the wave is shoving back against IMT, but they're doing a fine job hanging back. There's really... Wait a minute!
You gotta be careful. Afro's getting into with a double flavor. Here's the counter kill from Xerxes. Perhaps not just yet. No, there it is. First blood over to Diana, thanks to the Ignite out of Destiny. as Acadian still wants more. Missing that Q though means the play will be called off, and Neo is just in so much trouble. Will now be forced to flash, headbutt back. IMT gonna get 2 off the play, maybe 3 there as races onto Neo. Last hit there, and that's a triple in the bottom side for IMT.
Oh, that was just such a good counter gank for IMT, but Dignitas set themselves up for disaster. They did not contribute to that play at the same time. It was Acadian who saw the gank. All right, backed off because Destiny and Raze were too far away. But then Afro 4 better.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like, isn't that just like PowerPoint on the internet? All right, we're back in the game. Thank God he's hit tab enough times to realize he is one wave down, which isn't too bad, actually. So he'll be okay for now. But like we said, the real problem is the man in the jungle, Xerxes 2-0-0, and IMT with their pushing lanes, with their double kill, they're up 2,000 gold. So watch this bottom side action again.
Yeah, so Acadian's already backing away. Oh, just such a big miscommunication because Afro flashes in and then he has to use Lantern to shield himself. I don't know what the bug could have ended up being in here, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know if it's in here.
Yeah.
Might be somewhere else.
Right, because we were talking to Revenge before, and then Acadian just has no way out. And here I think the thing was
Neo, you gotta leave.
You could have left, my dude. One more auto attack. Bam.
Oh.
I don't know why he needed a flash on that one, but it still does it for the style points.
A nice fadeaway there from Raze. And as a result, IMT take the early game advantages they have, and they snowball them, they balloon them into a very big lead for themselves, and in particular for their jungler. So, you know, if the game holds, things will go from bad to worse in this early game. As, oh, I have a reminder. It is an OC invasion tonight on Bud Light League Lounge. Destiny and Raze will be joining the Tigers and Dash on the Bud Light League Lounge to test their knowledge of Aussie slang and force one of our hosts to eat Vegemite live on broadcast. So you definitely don't want to miss that, because I know for a fact that Dash will crumble like a Tim Tam dipped in coffee once you taste it.
I know for a fact that any testing of Aussie slang will not be a thorough job to Aussie slang, because this is still a PG-13 broadcast pastry.
There's lots of different slang words, Crumbs. Can't get them all in there.
They all sound like swear words when Australian slang.
That is true. A lot of them do sound offensive when many of them are innocent. You know, I think maybe it works the opposite sometimes too. The innocent ones are definitely very offensive. Anywho, make sure to catch that. It'll be fun.
In Canada, moose was used as an insult, and that just does not sound offensive at all.
It really doesn't. As topside Faker trying to get some stuff going on. W's into poor Revenge. But, you know, Revenge is fine. Still up. Still feeling good. And Xerxes is looking for the invade. This is his happy place in the enemy jungle, because Insanity is about to solo pressure Yusui down. He's going to now look to take some plates, excuse me. And when your lanes are pushing and you have all this room, it's the best time for a jungler. You can do anything you want.
Yeah, and I want to see them dive this bot lane. Just don't stop pressuring this lane. Make him back up. Make him lose the wave, because guess what? Acadian's in the top side. He's trying to cover for Fake God, but now because there's no vision on the side of Dig, they just got to back up. We know it's only Raze, but they don't know where Afro and Diana are at until that dragon gets hit. But here they go, trying to count it. Raze has no flash. Oh, I think he's dead. They're leaving him up.
Yep, goodbye, Raze. It has been fun knowing you, but before the 8-minute mark, you shall die thanks to the teleport of Fake God, and Neo will get some much-needed gold out of the deal.
Okay, I like that, and they can afford to do this because Acadian's in the top side. He's catching the wave, so not much will be lost in terms of minions. They do answer back and punish that flash, but still, IMT is able to get so much. It's not like Acadian can lane safely and harass Revenge from taking plate, so he's still going to get an advantage, and it actually helps him out even more because Fake God did not get a kill. He only got an assist while Revenge just got 2 plates.
Yeah, Revenge definitely going to be happy with the personal lead he's able to build as a result of all that. As Insanity also, oh man, 20 CS up against this Silas. I mean, we knew it was going to be rough, but Insanity is giving Yusui the hands in the 1v1 right now.
Twin hands with Akimbo weapons too, so
exactly.
There's a lot of damage, a lot of firepower in that, and now the roam happens from the support, but they know that this Rift Herald could be tricky business. Afro and Neo have not showed up. They'll see them now, so they know they can just back up. No one's in the bot lane. You can get Raze a lot of plate gold down there, so they're happy to take this trade. If Dig is going to commit so much over there, well, they can get just as much over in the bot side. So Dignitas trying to be proactive, but IMT is already set up with a counterplay.
Yeah, IMT again, they just have such like it's hard to overstate like how much of a map lead it is to have literally every lane be able to push.
Yeah.
Right? Especially early on, you get all the plate golds, you do. Oh, hello, you've been spotted. Destiny, run! Wait, did Aftershock proc in and aggro the Raptors? Xerxes actually is just going to take the leash. Kind of a funny trade there, but Destiny not really in much trouble, I suppose, because IMT, again, they just have such a big advantage in this early game.
Gosh, they are really getting zoned off.
They're 4K ahead.
Look at the ward line that they have here, just from the 3 control wards down there. It's just so much vision in this red side, so they run this jungle, and they're trying to set themselves up to dive this bot lane. There's no TPs now from Fake God, and still Neo and Afro have to hang back. There's still more gold to be taken from these plates in the bot lane, so that excursion for the Rift Herald ends up backfiring on Dig.
Yeah, we'll see where Katie does drop, because he's going to need to get some value out of it to give Dignitas some gold back in their pockets. IMT feeling pretty good right now, as Xerxes will finally take a recall from the bottom side of the enemy jungle. He's got 4 stacks on the Dark Seal already, and look at that! Under 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and we have our first mythic. It is Xerxes Proto Belt, Rocket Belt, excuse me. Ready for action.
That's a fatty, as well as Afro's most
that's cool.
LCS Thresh games in history. So 73, still with a positive win rate. Love to see high win rates. Well, not that high, but still positive on a very contested pick, because every support will always cite Thresh as your must-pick support. If you're playing professionally or have any aspirations of playing pro, and you are not playing Thresh, you are doing it wrong.
Have to agree. Not too surprising, I guess. As Yasui, oh my goodness, this lane feels very unfair. Insanity's even taken the pit stop for early executioner's calling, so like, you know, Kingslayer's not going to get you out of trouble if you actually go for a full-on fight. So Insanity is absolutely working this 1v1 right now. I mean, it's been pretty much isolated. That's kind of like not true, because there's so much pressure that Xerxes can always join the lane, but Acadian can't really safely do anything, and your support definitely can't roam from bottom lane. So, you know, Insanity does have a lot of safety with how good the early game has gone for IMT, but still very impressive individually, getting such a big lead in the 1v1. And of course, Revenge is up as well. I mean, it's all good right now for IMT. It's very hard to be upset with how the first, 12 minutes of this game has played out.
And here's the thing. I have no sympathy for Yasui picking Sylas here, because you knew you were up against a Lucian. You saw the Lucian taken early on, right? You know that it's not going to be flexed into the bottom lane, because Varus was also taken, so any disadvantage in this matchup was of his own.
Oh, Xerxes! It's just filthy. Neo is going to be forced to Fate's Call and flash away. Revenge actually looking to get solo boloed. Not yet, but it's looking close as Fate God is fighting back in the 1v1.
Yeah, that's something. That's something that Dignitas really needs. At least one lane is answering back, and not where you expected. You thought that the Jace would hold a solid advantage into the set, but Fate God's been playing it pretty well. Revenge will have the teleport now, so he can base back, and Fate God's done a really fine job here in this matchup. Still 4,000 gold behind as a team, but stopping Jace from building goldies and getting something back on the set is just some glimmer of hope in Dignitas, because the bottom lane certainly is not it. They are just getting steamrolled down here. I don't know when's the last time Neo has seen a creep wave, but it hasn't been in the past 2 minutes, that's for sure.
And this is not how the matchup is supposed to go, right? Like, 2v2, Neo and Afro are pushing, right? They had the advantage, so like, working in, they called Acadian town. Look at what one very successful gank does for a lane.
They struck oil, right? You saw it right there, like, ooh, there's so much more that we can get from this play, and they've done it. I think they got inspired from TSM's win against Cloud9, just how dominant they can be. And it's something that teams would need to practice, and seeing IMT do it well here is really fine, because you get these gold advantages, but sometimes they're larger than you might have expected. And can you chain those leads into more and more plays that get your advantage into a position that can then transition into strong mid games, big differences in mythic item spikes, and so far it has for IMT.
All right, well, Rift Tower going to be killed, but Revenge is not feeling all that fun, actually. Was winning the 1v1 before, now it's even. Fate God's killed a tower, gotten all those plates for himself, so going to be pretty happy as he finishes off the Stride Breaker. But I did want to draw your attention to Raze has in fact gone Prowler's Claw.
Okay.
Despite the changes.
I do like the Duskblade plenty, but I also think that there is some playmaking to be said from the Varus, so I think maybe that's what he wants to go after. Oh, here we go.
Ulti there onto Aframu. That is a lot of Q damage, and Insanity is able to finish it off. Afro just stood no chance there, and now IMT going to finish off the tower. Yasui steals an ulti. Very nicely done. Finds one. The root is good enough as Yasui's going to take him down.
Okay, avenging Afro's death. That was really worthwhile for Dignitas because trading the support flash for getting the AD carry, pretty good. Raze also burned his flash too. It's that playmaking. Didn't use the Prowler's Claw on that one, just the flash, but IMT's not done with this. Looking for...
Oh, Xerxes. Oh, it just looks too easy.
Oh, gosh, Diana damage. Okay, this pick might have the most impressive debut in the LCS we've had thus far. We just started to see it last week, and it has been relentless in deleting carries.
Xerxes level 11. He's 2 levels ahead of Acadian. He's 4 levels ahead of Aframu. Aframu is going to move Revenge back out of the way, and he will live. But this time, as Raze steals the enemy blue buff and Xerxes continues to terrorize the rest of Dignitas' Rift.
That Flay saved Afro's life. Had he missed that one, he would have died on the spot. Let's take a look at how this play unfolded because Afro sees something here because Acadian and Yasui are on the sides. The AD carries are stepping up. He's thinking, oh, Varus would be a nice target to Flay into me. Just flashes away, gets cooled down. But then Yasui with a really clutch steal of the Varus ultimate, knowing then that the Lucian did not have his dash available, allows Acadian to follow up easily. So really good heads-up play. The most impressive part about it was not stealing the ultimate before, so that there was no opportunity for IMT of thinking that that play was coming.
Yeah, really nice set for Yasui, but needs to keep making plays like that to get the team back in the driver's seat, because IMT is still up 6K crumbs. 2 Dragons and about to be a Rift Herald. Their first one of this game. And Raze, my goodness. I gotta tell you, Raze, from memory, holds the record this split for building the highest gold lead at 15.
Yeah.
He's not going to eclipse that in this game. But when it works, the man really gets the gold lead going.
Off a single play that they've been able to just get so much gold for this Varus. And this is one of the most difficult champions to deal with. But before we get to that, Fake God's attempting to play another TP.
Alrighty, well, it turns out with the dash off Stride Breaker, still pretty good if you set all people into the team. Xerxes in trouble, pops the Moonfall. Faker there, now going to dunk him back in into the rest of the waiting arms of Dig, and that Zonies ain't going to save you as a double kill happens in top lane. They both go down. The shutdown for Neo, though, is nice as Dignitas are still fighting back, and Faker flash stride breaks in. Revenge is so slow. Does get Afro in the collateral, but it is going to be a trade. 3-4-2 at the end of the day.
Hey, that's pretty good for Dignitas. The Fake God TP ends up working out. You get the shutdown on Xerxes. That was a big bounty to get. Already was at 3-0. Even get the stopwatch. He will complete his Zhonya's pretty soon, but still you're getting value out of that play. Let's see, because Fake God is approaching, and it doesn't seem like IMT is even aware of it just yet. They are not backing up. In fact, they are looking to go in. They're still thinking that they have numbers advantage, that the flank isn't coming. When Xerxes gets hooked and the rest of the team is just not there to fight, it's too easy. And the bot side, though, we do get to see a double culling. Oh, snap. I want to see that one in slow motion. I do.
That was funny. And then Neo grabs the shutdown gold, and Digger able to chase for one more. Look at this flash drive break. Oof.
90% slow.
Yeah.
90% slow.
Remember the old Nunu snowball crumbs?
It didn't slow you as much as a Stride Breaker.
That's true. It's back, though.
Right.
Better than ever. Attached to an item called Stride Breaker. And now it's AoE!
Now everyone can disco Nunu.
Alrighty. Well, nice flank from Fago. Did cost him his TP, but that is gold Dignitas desperately need. They'll bring the game back a little bit, but still IMT have a very big lead in this game, and they are looking to snowball quickly to the Ocean Soul. Ooh. Ah, the brushery gets Fake God killed as IMT were indeed all hiding in there.
There was no business checking that brush just yet. Now, they thought the timer of the dragon would be their cue to try to go into this, but it just wasn't. The rest of the team was still pushing out the mid lane. They wanted prio mid before they transitioned into that one. So, Fake God, yeah, he made a good play with the TP earlier, but this one just ends up being gold in the pocket of IMT and the certainty that the dragon would go their way. I don't even think Dig had any business trying to take that dragon fight. The only reason they got that dub on the earlier fight was because IMT wasn't prepared and they had a TP flank. Going just straight up 5v5, this much gold down is just not it.
Well, his bottom tower's dead. Insanity will make work of it. As Xerxes has kind of been living in the enemy Croc camp, as you can see him recalling there. I don't know what like number time it is he's taken his camp, but it's a lot. He's been cycling the enemy camps. He's got Zhonya's now finish. He did lose a couple stacks on the Dark Seal, but you know what? That's okay.
He's taken it more than his own. And that's what matters. The fact that he's been down there to set up Raze for denying the creep waves, to threaten Afro and Neo with a dive. It's made the bot lane of Dignitas such a nightmare to lane in. That's why they've left the lane so much, and that's why Raze's goal lead is so high. And the Varus going lethality, getting snowballed, is so difficult to deal with because no one gets to stack armor. No one gets your natural armor raised from levels. You're just dealing with a ton of stacked lethality before you can itemize against it, and it does so much damage.
Oh, flash ult attempted there for Raze. He is feeling it today. Going for all the aggro plays, doesn't quite land that one.
It's something that Dig can actually strike upon now, but it looks like Neo should get this Lantern and get out. But if Raze doesn't have flash, Acadian does have his own, so as long as they can pinpoint who to go after, they can start chaining play after play on a single member of IMT and try to fight their way out of this game, because that's going to be the only way that they can do this. It's what's gotten them wins in the past. Even with this current lineup in the past, the team fighting has been a strength for Dignitas, and now there is a glimmer of hope, an avenue with which they can get a fight that won't be as one-sided as the rest have been.
All right, well, not going to have that long because the next Dragon is up in 3 minutes. And IMT can definitely think about the Baron as well, as it is over 20 minutes and they have plenty of damage. And of course, all the map control to be able to get that vision cleared out, make sure they have it. But Dig are at least trying to kind of push here in mid lane, although Varus Qs are making it quite challenging.
They're just not even a siege comp, right? So they're just grouping up to try to make sure that they can go for a dive. Raze, my man!
Oh, that's very nice there. No flash, no hope for Raze. Acadian is going to shut that down. Faco takes the Lantern out. Yasui popping the alley ulti, gets the Everfrost, but doesn't quite find the angle. Re-engage from Destiny, though, as Revenge has taken down Faco. Afro's popping out. Xerxes, they're going golden, as Insanity will finish off Yasui, and a nicely timed hook for Afro is not going to be enough, as he'll be forced to flash. Insanity still in hot pursuit. But no kills will come.
They don't even need Raze for this fight. They see an avenue to take a 4v5 and they win it. Now they're going to go for the Baron. There will be teleports up from Dignitas if they can wait enough time and try to stall this out. But IMT have already so much damage. I don't think they're going to even make it. They have no vision. There is no Scryer's Bloom. Destiny is setting up for a turn in case they have to fight it.
Oh, actually, Hex Flash over. Yeah, they do want to turn. That's the play. They're going for all alone. Neo now in trouble, can only hop away, but the TP's coming through for Dig. Acadian, no, maybe going to be stopped as Faco gets in there. Face breaks too. That's going to be a pick-off onto Insanity. Neo able to find the shutdown, but Raze is back. He lands the ulti. Yasui is going to die, and Set will fall as well, as Dig bit off a little bit too much there.
Nothing changes. IMT still wins a 1-for-3 and now can return to the Baron. Dignitas have no way to get into this one. Acadian cannot attempt to steal, so it's just more gold for IMT. Another one fight. It's gonna be a Baron, and it's gonna be just an absolute stomp of a game thus far. From that earlier play in the bot lane, they have gotten more and more advantages that Dignitas just cannot compete with. It all started finding Raze. By himself, he had no flash. Great. But they took a lot of damage, and more importantly, Fake God was caught on the side and there was no Lantern, so the rest of IMT saw an opportunity. Beautiful 3-man pull from Destiny. Didn't get the Diana combo as precise as you would have liked to see it, but still buys enough time with the Hourglass. That's that wallet advantage. If Xerxes wasn't that fed, wouldn't have that, would have died.
Such a good turn here as well for Destiny. Has the Hex Flash, she's a Acadian, decides to go in for the fight instead, and then Faco TP's in to try and get it back. And this is a very nice face breaker, to be fair.
Yeah, you get the shutdown and some good gold, but then that Chains of Corruption keeps 2 members in place, and you just can't take the beating of Varus right now. Oh, Fake God's dead.
He just keeps finding angles, too, for the stun on the face breaker. Raze on a killing spree, but is going to go down to the back of it all, but I just don't think it matters. Actually, Digger holding on. Neo is still firing away, but Revenge now looking for the flank. Acadian eating so much damage when Insanity has gone down. Destiny is going to fall as well, and it's IMT this time that have overextended. Revenge is the only one left alive, and it's not for long as Neo finds a shutdown and Dig find the ace.
The Mad Lads did it. That was a Baroned up IMT. That is a huge win for them. They're going to be able to take a mid-tier 1 and the Dragon 8,000 gold down, and they still win the fight. IMT a bit more that they could chew. Fake God still got a good combo off, but Jace was not there. IMT just wasn't as grouped as you would have liked them to be before this fight broke out, while Dignitas already had more members than they would have liked to. A great hook from Afro to find Raze, taking out Varus right away. And then Insanity left on the side with Xerxes dying, just has no one to peel for him. There's not enough threat from the rest of the team. And now Revenge arrives. He's trying to save this play, but it's already too late.
Yeah, and again, more than enough here. Silas putting in work alongside the rest of the squad, and Neo is going to be the one to win a lot of the gold at the end of that ace. So Kalista went from being in the trash can after that first gank from Xerxes. It's a 7-2-3 with 3 items finished.
I mean, remember where she started, right? She was getting denied. IMT will really be going over VOD review after this, and win or lose, these fights cannot have afforded to go this way. And now it looks like Dignitas is feeling some confidence.
They're
looking for
so confident. They're still looking for fights now. Yasui getting in there, tries to get onto the Silas, now pops the alley ulti he stole just a moment ago. But Dignitas are going to have to back up.
Acadian was looking for an angle on a kick flash, ward huff, didn't quite get it. They had Yasui with the Alistar ultimate. That's a key ability to steal if they want to be forcing these fights. He can buy so much time in the front lines with that spell. Already has the Hourglass as well. So Dignitas, you know, they're down in the hole when it comes to gold, but the itemization is already there, and clearly one of these members has enough damage to carry these fights.
All right, well, Dignitas holding on. Very impressive so far, but we'll see if they can stem the tide. And Xerxes did transform the ring he had earlier, but not all that many pages. Kind of a short story this time for Machado.
Yeah, a short story, right? Get lead, throw lead, try to claim back the lead, because IMT really are in a tricky position, because now they have to respect that Dignitas can actually win these fights. So before, they could just throw themselves at Dig and win. But now Dignitas is feeling like they can actually counterattack, like they can actually take these fights as long as Neo stays alive. So he's going to be target #1. Must take down Neo. 5 Mr. Smiths against a single Dig AD carry.
All right, well, IMT continuing to invade this red side. Destiny again leading the charge. Red buff is going to be the thing they fight over, but Destiny's been hooked, and that's a free ulti there. Neo, though, going to have to flash. Xerxes looks for the angle, but now the rest of Dig are going to file in. Destiny, he's running low on extra health. Fakon finds 2 for the clap, and Acadian there still trying to live as Destiny gets hooked once again. There's the kill for Neo as he goes godlike, as now Yasui looks to maybe re-engage with Raze. Snipes Afro out of the air. That's going to make it 1-for-1.
IMT tries to engage with the Diana, gets flashed out by Neo, but then he's already zoned off. The poke from the Jace and the Varus is still respectable. They're still very far ahead, so the rest of the Dig squad that doesn't have armor, they just can't stand up to it. They get burned down from afar while Destiny is tanking. It was just a fight over the red buff. It was just over vision and a single minor objective, but the fact that IMT struggled to get it should still bode well for Dignitas.
Right, and the reason the vision matters, Crumbs, is because Ocean Soul's coming up in a minute 45, right? So this is an obvious area of the map that teams want to contend for. IMT have had control of it pretty much the entire game since Diana first ganked in that bottom lane. And yet, still things look kind of close.
Yeah, that's what's scary, because they're so far down. So a good Shock Blast hit actually takes down some of Neo's initial shield, and then the engage that he has to flash because Revenge is right there with him. But then a lot of damage gets hit onto Neo with the poke from the Culling, and the Varus even gets hit by the Chains of Corruption, so he's not able to DPS as much as he wants during this fight. Yes, they still take down Destiny, but then another huge arrow from Raze deletes Afro, and without him, who's been so critical at finding hooks in these fights, they have to back off.
Yasui has just been so clutch, I think, on this on the Sars. I believe he stole Varus ulti again there in that fight. Actually, I think helped them get that kill that they did get. Look at what's happening here. Like, if you took away the gold, you would not think that Dig, the team behind in gold, they are playing, they have full control of the Dragon side of the map. Well, ooh, and this is why IMT wanted to cheat towards Baron.
Yeah, Dignitas doesn't have a Scry, so they just popped it now, so now they know. But look at the poke they're taking on the way there.
Oh, Yasui grits through with the Alistar ulti. He's not going to have it at the end of it all. His ult's cooling off, but it's not going to be up in time if they fight right now. And Dig are taking maybe a bit too much poke. as they will move themselves back down to the soul that they have to fight for, remember.
They want to see if they can make a trade, but Arcadia is already so low. IMT can always trade this soul for the Baron. It's not going to give Dignitas the opportunity for a soul point themselves, but with the Baron, with the poke composition they already have, it's going to be difficult to deal with a siege.
It's a bad trade deal, Crumbs, and Dig don't want it. Aframu, maybe he can find some vision. This is going to have to be a steal. Not going to get it. Fake God instead. It's going to go back in. The hook lands, but it's only under Destiny as Moonfall finds two there as Revenge is taking out Fake God, but now they go back in. Afro is desperately trying to make it work, but Neo will be caught up in the crossfire, and it's Immortals that find the Baron, and this time they find the ace.
They're going to try to end the game right now. There's double teleports on them. Jace and Lucian are TPing bot lane. The death timers are over 30 seconds. IMT set up a Baron play on their own terms, bring Dignitas to them, smash them, and now they'll win the game.
All right, well, IMT, one last waltz to the enemy base to finish off the 4th of July weekend, but it is IMT. Despite Dignitas' very noble effort, the wallet is too big to be stopped, Crumbs, as IMT will finish off the weekend, stopping the 3-0 and taking down Dignitas as Afro gets himself slain in the fountain.
Sighs of relief, because not only did you stop the Dig 3-0, which to some maybe they weren't even thinking about, but more importantly, they stopped their own 0-3. IMT get themselves back on track with a strong victory. Some minor hiccups in the mid game, but still, the snowball from the fight in the bot lane was so well played. They just never let Neo and Afro back into the game. It was that hiccup that allowed the Kalista to be strong, but then you saw how powerful their team fight was at the end of the day. Dignitas just couldn't stand the chance.
Yeah, pick aggressive soul in is using Revenge and Insanity's like flexibility. Get Raised in Destiny Elite, Xerxes go kill, and then yeah, look pretty easy from there.
Xerxes, go get him, go get him. You're always killing them. Just do it again.
Hey, Xerxes, want to go get 2 kills on the AP jungle you're really good at and carry the game? He's like, sure.
Yeah, I could do that.
I will say though, Destiny for me played so well that game. In a matchup I didn't expect him to really do much. Like in lane especially, there's not much Alistar can do. Granted, Xerxes helped him out, but once that happened and they needed to actually, do stuff in the mid game, like I think around the Baron, I think in a lot of their skirmishes, Destiny had so many good plays to set up Xerxes in team fights.
He's been so impressive on so many supports, whether it's in lane or out of it. If you can just get him past the hurdle of, oh yeah, the Alistar early lane is going to suck, he's almost always delivering on all the myriad of picks he's had, like the Thresh or the Rakan. Here on the Alistar was no difference, finding so many crucial angles, multiple flash pulls, headbutts against targets going in. It's a really well played Alistar game.
I like how you omitted Yuumi.
Yuumi, good gameplay. Okay.
All right. Well, as a result, player of the game is in fact Destiny, and for me, I think very well deserved. It's easy to look at Xerxes that game and be like, oh, he must have done it because he did all the work. And Xerxes, like, don't get me wrong, did a lot of work in that game. But for once the support will shine, he just set up so much there.
Yeah, and that was the Alistar pick that was a response to seeing the Thresh, knowing what he was going to get himself into, and delivered it really well. So I think that Destiny is quietly, I think, in my eyes, one of the better supports that is on a team that may not have the standings to reflect his performance.
He's definitely upping the consistency, which I think has been a big deal for him, right? Like, even on like his more signature like hook style champions, he had some not so great games on those as well. But I think this summer he has been on the up and up, which has been really nice to see. But we are now going to be joining Dash over on stage with Revenge for our Verizon post-game interview.
It's back there.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm here with Revenge, ending the week on a victory, a holiday weekend at that. But this one, against a team who's very much, neck and neck with you, although they have a slightly better overall win rate, one of the teams that you're most eligible to catch in the overall standings. Just kind of curious for you how it feels, or maybe how the difference in taking down teams, either when they're below with you neck and neck or above you in the standings, how that kind of changes.
Yeah, so it was a really important win for us in terms of standings. There's no lie about that. I think as a team, we try not to focus on the standings too much, though. It's always there subconsciously, though. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I knew that winning this game today is like huge, not only for the standings, but because we also haven't beaten Dig yet in the season. Like, we just keep losing to them, and it's really frustrating. So I'm glad we were actually finally able to just win.
Do you, as a player, just kind of keep a mental, tab of like, all right, we've, essentially now we've taken down every team. Which are the ones that are still on that list that we need to take down? And like, how does that change your confidence level the next time you go up a team against a team that you either have or haven't beaten yet?
For me, it's like, I guess it's just motivation because I'm like, okay, we have not beaten this team, and I know we're a better team, and we just have to show it already because, I mean, it's really just, in my head, just being able to compete and beat every team in the LCS is always like super important to me. I think the only team we haven't beaten still other than them is TSM. So I'm really motivated to verse them.
All right, well, they took down Cloud9 today. We'll look forward to that next matchup. I'm sorry to beat you over the head with some standings questions, but another curiosity I have is that, again, this is a team that has a better win rate than you in terms of the overall record. But when we isolate to Summer, you have a better win-loss record than Dignitas. You actually are tied in win-loss record with Cloud9 and TL in Summer, teams even further above you in the standings. And so in a sense, again, it's that issue of carrying over Spring to Summer and how it can kind of lie to us about the relative strength of teams right now. So much of the conversation around Immortals is that this team is so much better than the record that we see when we look at that logo. How do you evaluate, though, where your strength as a team is comparatively to the rest of the teams in the league?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we were pretty bad in Spring. I mean, we just had a lot of things missing because of like the lack of time we had with each other to practice. We didn't even have lock-in together to practice, so we definitely were not good as a team in Spring. And we lost a lot of games because of it, but we know in Summer that it was like a fresh start in a way because we had this much longer off season. And yeah, it does suck that the record shows from Spring, but in terms of just like individual performance and skill and how we're playing as a team, we know we're way better in Summer now. And like you said, the standings show it for Summer.
Right.
And it's just, I think we're not trying not to think about Spring too much anymore. It's kind of in the past, and we're more focused on making top 6 in playoffs for Summer and being able to compete with every team in playoffs.
Well, top 8 currently, so you're gonna make it in if you keep up this rate. But I like the conversation around moving towards 6, securing that upper bracket run for Immortals. Let's talk play style and identity of the team as you guys push forward. There have been some really interesting comps coming out of your roster. I'm thinking also of games like the Aurelia coming out. We saw you on Jace, in this game as well. I'm curious how you as a team and yourself personally, kind of step up to the challenge of playing what seems like some compositions that require such high execution. If an Aurelia game goes bad, it can go bad fast, right? if a Jace lane gets behind, it can get snowballed over. So I'm kind of curious, just from your perspective as the top laner, how you approach kind of high pressure, really min-maxy games that require such precise execution.
I'm a player who really likes to push the limits and just show my mechanics because it's always been a strength of mine. And I think that there's no better way to do it than you just kind of have to throw yourself in that situation and see what you're capable of. Because if you do mess up and you do just int on these champions, like you said, it's really sad and it's really, really bad. But part of just standing out as a player and being someone that people remember and being someone that people want to play with or watch is having that unique style and also just being okay under pressure. So that's something that I always highlight, or why I want to highlight for myself.
Well, I love the risk-taking. Final question to you, and this is a quick one. Dignitas was talked about as the surprise of Spring. Immortals is talked about as the surprise of Summer. But from your perspective, is it a surprise that you're performing as well as you guys are?
Not really, because I think the level of the league right now is kind of even in my head, I think so. And it was kind of the same in Spring. So I just think that overall, it's really best of ones at least. You kind of just have to show that you're capable of beating everyone, and then that's good enough, right? So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by the top teams either. I just don't think that anyone right now in the league has a huge upper hand on anyone. So.
Hell yeah. 8-7 now. I look forward to the rest of the climb through Summer. Congratulations on the victory here today.
Thank you.
All right, from here, we're going to a break. When we come back, it's the player of the week and the Bud Light Breakdown. We'll catch you there.
Nice.